In the past several days, I've done quite a bit of research about Brian Rose, London Real and his digital freedom platform. And I've made some shocking discoveries. So in this video, I'm going to cover everything that's wrong with Brian Rose, lies he's been saying, his digital freedom platform, and his narrative on how he's fighting for the freedom of speech.
Every day I'm hustling.
I just want to mention that everything that I'm going to show you in this video are straight facts, and I will leave my opinions completely out of it. There's quite a lot of things that are wrong with this guy, and I want to expose everything, so please watch the whole video and try to keep an open mind, because as I said, I'm only going to state facts with evidence that you can check for yourself if you don't believe in what I'm about to tell you. Some of you might have seen my last video covering Brian Rose's crowdfunding scheme and don't understand that it was just a tip of the iceberg and there's a lot more to this whole thing. By the way, if you are not sure what this is all about, I gave a quick summary of the whole situation in that video, so go ahead and watch that one first. Since I got some negative comments about my English and how I'm probably a communist spy or an AI, since I'm rarely blinking and I'm talking like a robot, how I'm reading a script that someone paid me to read, and so on, even though I feel ridiculous that I even need to mention this, I want to address that first. It's pretty obvious that I'm not a native English speaker and English is my third language, my mother's tongue is Serbian I na srpskom mogu da pričam opušteno bez ikakve skripte I bilo čega. S obzirom da mi engleski nije perfektan I da ne pričam na engleskom u svakodnevnom životu, a na engleskom jedino pričam kad snimam video. Because of that, I have to write a script before I start recording, or the video would end up extremely slow with a lots of ums and pauses and so on. And let's be honest, no one wants to watch something like that. I'm obviously not a spy nor an AI, and no one would pay a channel with just 2k subs to do something like this. On my last video I got quite a bit of hate and a lot of people left some pretty disgusting comments, even though it's pretty clear that they haven't even watched the video and just came to leave hate, dislike or to troll. I've kept all these comments and I also try to reply to as many as possible because I'm not against free speech, even though some of these comments were pure hate speech or racism. Again, if you don't believe me, you can check that out for yourself. The main reason why that's important is because people called me out for being against free speech, even though I never mentioned anything like that. They also called me and people who are supporting me sheeps, close-minded and blind, even though they were the ones acting like it and didn't want to open their mind and watch the video. Instead, they watched just 30 seconds and decided that I'm a communist spy or that I'm paid by Bill Gates. As I said, I haven't deleted a single comment, no matter how terrible it was. But do you know who's deleting comments and actively censoring his comment section? Brian. A man you think is a hero fighting against censorship, but I'm going to get into that and show you some proofs later in this video. So once again, please keep an open mind and hear me out before it's too late. As I said, I've done a lot of research and every single claim that I'm going to make in this video will be supported by proof, which you can then check out for yourself if you really seek the truth. There are a ton of things that are wrong with Brian Rose and a lot of potential scams he's involved in, so I'm going to leave timestamps in the description in case you want to skip some parts you are already aware of. I've seen some people doubting that it was banned and saying that Brian deleted it himself, which is not true. The interview indeed got banned and censored, and he used that as an opportunity to start his movement for the freedom of speech against tech giants. Now, the first thing that most people supporting Brian need to understand is that this kind of censorship is nothing new on YouTube. It pretty much started happening since the incident with popular YouTuber PewDiePie back in 2017, when advertisers started to boycott YouTube, demanding tighter rules. I don't want to cover that right now, but if you are not aware and you want to research that, you can check it out. People called the whole thing apocalypse, so if you want, you can search up for that. But I just want to mention that in December, a huge video with over 35 million views that was uploaded years ago got deleted because YouTube decided to suddenly change their policy on online bullying, and it apparently turned out that the video was against their new policy. So this was a video with millions of views from a creator who has a channel with almost 8 million subscribers, and it got taken down by YouTube, just like Brian's interview, without any prior notice. And the most interesting thing is that even the person who was supposedly bullied in that video said it was a douche move from YouTube and the video shouldn't get deleted. The main reason I'm mentioning this is because most of Brian's followers were not aware of the fact that YouTube was censoring content long before this banned video, and that interview is not the isolated case. Within the next few days, London Real got banned from Vimeo, LinkedIn, and so on. And on 11th of April, Brian created London Real Army hashtag asking people to help and to support his fight for freedom of speech. On 12th of April, he made this video and called London Real Army to go to his website and download his interview and content and put it out there to help spread the message. Now we come to the first problem with London Real and Brian Rose. I would love to include some clips from his videos, but unfortunately a few weeks after he called his followers to download his content and spread the message, he decided to claim and take down videos that contain his content based on copyright. I'm going to mention why later on, but that's the reason I'm not going to include any clips from his video into this video. All of his videos that I will be mentioning are available on his YouTube channel, and you can watch them yourself if you don't believe in what I'm saying. In the following days, he started building up his London Real Army, and he was publishing a ton of videos and clips from his interviews in order to grow his audience and build deeper connection. On April 15th, he published this video, and I think this is the first time he hinted that he wants to stream new Icke interview to 1 million people and that he needs help. He said that announcement, how can people help his fight for freedom of speech, will come out soon. In the meantime, he did an interview with Alex Jones of Infowars, and he got a piece of his audience as well. This is important because at this point Brian is collecting a lot of different audiences with different points of views and blending them all together into London Real Army fighting for the freedom of speech. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning all this is because a lot of his followers are watching just some of his content and are not aware of all this. I really hope you're still with me, since now it really starts to become interesting. On April 18th, he published this video where he announced he will be doing another interview with David Icke and made that bold claim that this interview is going to be the largest live stream of a conversation in human history. I think this is the first time he mentioned this is going to be streamed from undisclosed location, basically hinting that someone could stop the interview, so he needs to take safety into consideration. He also mentioned that no one pays him to do this, and he's doing it because it makes sense and he feels something is wrong. At this point, he also said that there are thousands of other videos mentioning 5G problem that are still up on YouTube, but he's the only one that got censored because he's the most authentic. Towards the end of this video, he also said that he's taking the next step, which is 1 million concurrent viewers for his upcoming interview with Icke, and that he's investing in technology to make that happen, and that he needs help and his followers can be involved in this revolution as well, which he's going to announce soon. He also once again said that he wants people to watch live so they can screen record it and share the message themselves. At this point, he also started selling his London Real Army merch, which is for sure generating him a ton of money. In my previous video, some people said that I'm jealous and that he needs to make some money to feed his family, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the only reason why I'm mentioning his merch is to put into perspective how much money he's actually making from all this. A lot of people are pretty new to all this and don't understand that merch selling is extremely profitable business, especially if you manage to build a movement like Brian did. In his video on April 20th, he mentioned, I think for the first time, that you can go to his website londonreal.tv and pre-register for the upcoming Rose Icke 3 interview. This is important because he's been using this to collect emails so he can push people his course and affiliate offers, which I'm going to get into later on. He also once again mentioned that he's been working on a technology and bandwidth to make this all happen, and that he needs help from London Real Army. One day later, on April 21st, he finally made that announcement of how London Real Army can help, by giving him money, of course. He said it's time to say goodbye to evil trillion-dollar companies that are censoring people and to build his own platform with the main goal being the freedom of speech. He gave it a name, Digital Freedom Platform, and also mentioned that this will be the first platform on the internet which is censorship free. Now, this is a pure lie, since there are a lot of platforms that are alternative to YouTube and are censorship free. I just wanted to mention once again that I'm also against censorship, and if his goal was really to spread different opinions and let people decide what they want to believe in, he could have just used one of these platforms that already exist. David Icke is using one of those, and from what I've seen, he's not experiencing any censorship. Never mind, let's assume he wanted to build his own platform, because you never know when these so-called censorship-free platforms are going to start censoring and deleting content. So, as I said, Brian decided to build his own digital freedom platform, as he says, of the people, by the people, for the people. He once again said that he's going to stream the interview with Icke to 1 million people on his platform, and to do that he needs to pay for the technology and bandwidth. In order to cover bandwidth costs and the technology to build this platform, he decided to create a crowdfunding campaign with a goal to raise $100,000. Now, as I mentioned already, this is super interesting because he made a claim that he needs 100k in order to cover hosting price for streaming to 1 million concurrent viewers. However, he couldn't possibly knew in advance how many viewers he's going to have, and his previous Icke interview that got banned had less than 100k concurrent viewers at its peak. But okay, let's say he was enthusiastic and pumped when he made that claim, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Let's move on. In this video, he also said that the upcoming Icke interview on May 3rd is going to be interactive and that you would be able to participate and interact with himself and Icke. This is another lie, since the interview happened a week ago and it wasn't possible. Again, you can check his video if you don't believe he actually said that. Another important thing that he said in this video is that this new platform is owned not only by London Real, but by people as well. Hence the slogan, by the people, for the people. And that it's going to be something that's a separate entity, completely separated from his already existing website, londonreal.tv. That's important because one day after, on 22nd of April, Brian published this video where he said that Digital Freedom Platform is now live. As you can see from the title of that video, he even gave a link to it, which is actually a londonreal.tv WordPress website, and it's not a platform. He claimed that he's building a completely new technology for Digital Freedom Platform and that it's going to be a separate entity from his already existing website. But now, for some reason, he started calling his website a Digital Freedom Platform, and as you can see, he claimed that it is live. In this video, he said, and I quote, "Alright, guess what? The Digital Freedom Platform is now live, and what this is a new way of live streaming of the people, by the people, for the people, and we have started to crowdfund for this Digital Freedom Platform. We opened up the platform last night, we built this pretty much from scratch and set it up." Now, let's assume he made a mistake and actually meant the crowdfunding campaign went live and not the platform itself. Just keep in mind that prior to this point, he was referring to londonreal.tv as a website, and from now on, he's going to call it a Digital Freedom Platform. This is important because from what I've seen in the comments on my last video, a lot of his followers were not aware that he had a website before this point and thought this is actually the new Freedom Platform. Oh, and by the way, londonreal.tv is built using WordPress, which is a completely free, open source content management system. His crowdfunding campaign started to gain traction and he managed to hit the goal and raise $100,000 in just 18 hours. He announced that he managed to meet his goal of 100k in this video and claimed once again that Digital Freedom Platform is a separate entity and that the money raised is going to go towards bandwidth for the upcoming live stream with David Icke, and they already got quoted 100k for 1 million viewers. In that video, he also claimed that it was never done before and that some companies they've asked said they don't even know if it's possible to stream to 1 million people at the same time. Once again, the problem with this is that he couldn't possibly knew if he's going to get 1 million concurrent viewers. But at this point, he even started mentioning that it's quite possible he's going to have more than 1 million viewers. He did that to justify the fact that his crowdfunding campaign was still open, and as you can see from the archive.org, his crowdfunding page looked like this. At this point, he raised more than $184,000, and it basically says the more they raise, the more people are going to see the interview. Now, once he reached that goal of 100k, he said that Digital Freedom Platform is moving to the phase 2, and phase 2 is another interview that he will be doing that Sunday. I just needed to mention that because on my last video I got a ton of comments saying that Brian never claimed that Digital Freedom Platform is already built, which is absolutely not true. And once again, in this video he said, and I quote, "If we stream this interview on YouTube, we will be banned and deplatformed." So this is a perfect test case for this Digital Freedom Platform. So we are now moving to the phase 2. We are advancing it. From this moment on, he's basically claiming that it's already built and live in almost every single video and on his community posts as well. In that same video, he also said, and I quote, "It comes down to you, who do you want to be in this fight? Someone who's on the front lines fighting for people's freedom, or you want to be in the back hiding with a toilet roll?" This is extremely important because he's using tactics like this to manipulate people into donating, or if they don't, he's basically calling them out. You can be a hero if you donate, or you can be a hiding out with your toilet roll. But it's your choice. I don't judge. You can still watch for free. I'm really sorry, but we have to finish this here. I've spent almost 5 full days researching. Because of that, I haven't published a new video in almost 7 days now, and this one turned out to be extremely long video, which I can't edit in time, so I had to split it into different parts. As you can see, this one was basically extremely long introduction, but I had to cover everything in depth since there are a lot of different audiences watching, and I've tried to cover everything based on comments that I got on my previous video. In the next video we are going to talk about the first official live stream on the Freedom platform, the cost of Rose Icke 3 interview, Brian's course that costs $3,000, censorship in London Real's comment section, latest crypto scam that Brian has been pushing, sneaky tactics he's been using to get his followers worked up, what freedom of speech means to Brian, his mentor, the future of digital freedom platform, why I'm doing this and wasting my time exposing London Real, and much more. During this whole series, I've tried to leave my opinions completely out, so please hit that thumbs up button if you like this video and seek the truth about this whole situation. I also want to remind you that you can always check everything that I've said by yourself, and if you have time, I definitely advise you to do so. A sequel to this video should be up within the next 24 hours, and once I publish it, I'm going to leave it here in the description and in the first comment. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.